Hello, everyone, and welcome to part two of the Racing Social Weekend Preview. As you can see, it's Friday night and it's just me and Dawn to keep you company. Dawn, seems like everyone's got a life on a Friday apart from me and you. We just sit here to talk racing.
That's all it's about, Joe. But I mean, Dublin Racing Festival for Saturday and Sunday. I've been dreaming and longing for this. Dry January's over and a hot February is coming. So, we're on the home straight now with some of the best racing. So Friday nights are dedicated to, this is showing pure dedication. Others are off having dates and, whatever else. And you scared someone away with one of your pre-Tom's trials. So, you might scare me away one night with these handicaps.
It is Friday night and you are heading to Leopardstown. You look forward to it?
I cannot wait. I am just chomping at the bit. I've more bounce than Zebedee in me. I will strut my way in there at 11 o'clock. I will park myself at the parade ring for the 2 days and I will just soak up every minute of it. It is going to be epic. We call it our mini Cheltenham and we have a new bank holiday as well. So it's going to be amazing. The equine stars we're being treated to. It's, again, I should use my favourite word, horsegasmic.
It looks definitely a great weekend. We're going to start off, obviously, Sunday's racing. We're going to start off with Musselburgh before hitting the main event, which is Leopardstown. So we start from the Triumph Hurdle Trial, the 122 Dawn. Harry Cobden and Nichols look like they're going to take the raid up north. So they have the favourite, Affadal. Are you with the favourite, Affadal?
I'm split, Joe. I mean, I like Affadal, and I'm going to go with John McConnell's as well. But Affadal, was a flat French winner and a good winner at Taunton back in December. 7-4, people seem to be excited. Will it be easy? Probably. We seem to be all wanting the French now after last week's and what Willie does with his French recruits. I really like Affadal. I can see why he's favourite, but I also like Bring Back Memories. He's 2-1. And Ryan Mania, who is riding out of his skin, who, people should really, I think, talk more about. With his strike rate is unbelievable. The winners he was smashing in January, we need to shout that from the roofs. He came back from retirement. He's a Grand National winning jockey, but he's on Bring Back the Memories for John McConnell. John McConnell's travelling over. He was on a break from September, and then he won New Year's Day at Musselburgh. So he's a former Ger Lines recruit as well. So he was a good flatty. But his 15-length win at Musselburgh, he deserves respect. He really does deserve respect. And when he was at Sedgefield before he went on his break, he was third to one of Emmett Mullen's good horses, MacTigue. So I think John McConnell isn't sending him over just for the haggis. That way he's a decent horse, and you've got Ryan Mania up who's riding out of his skin. So if you want to leave the favourite alone, I'd go with Bring Back Memories.
Yeah, you touched on Ryan Mania there. And we've all been guilty of it. Sometimes we kind of forget about the racing up north and how good the jockeys and trainers are. I'm guilty of it quite often. Don't look into it at times, do you?
You don't, no. And I kind of, what even I try to do over here a little bit is I try to celebrate the smaller jockeys that you mightn't hear about, or even the stable staff, because on a Saturday we're all so quick to say the bigger names, but then you've got the guys and the girls who are driving up and down every week, working hard, and they need to be celebrated too. And I couldn't get my head around why Ryan Mania isn't being more talked about. So at least we're having a chat about him, Joe.
Yeah, we'll get the talk going. Like we mentioned there, Bring Back Memories, he was rated 82 on the flat, I understand. So he was obviously half decent. And I watched his last race on New Year's Day, and I love the way he travelled and jumped into the race. It really was quite an eye-catching performance visually. But at Musselburgh, I don't think they're due much rain, and the ground is good to soft at the minute. I think by Sunday it's probably going to be good, which I do think slight preference for Affadal. I do think he'll prefer the quicker ground, and I think he might just get better, Bring Back Memories. But that's not a bad forecast to start the day for on a brilliant Sunday afternoon. So move on for the Triumph Hurdle Trial to the Scottish Champion Handicap Chase. Harry Durham's got the favourite here, so it's good to see him in the training ranks. He's got one of ex-Paul Nicol horse, so pressure's on with him. If he can get this one to win, that's a big tick in the box, isn't it?
It is, and you're loving seeing it. I think, was it a couple of weeks ago we seen he had trained one of his mum and dad's horse to win, or it was his first win or something like that.
There's a video that went viral.
Yeah. So he has. You're loving to see that as well, and coming out of a good stable like Paul Nichol's, both Harry and this horse, you've a bit of a story there, and we're all suckers for a story. As I say that, I didn't go with him.
No, I haven't either.
So I went with Donald McCain and Brian Hughes at 9-2. I went with Dreams of Home. 5th to Amarillo Sky in a novice handicap chase at Newbury last year. Won at Perth, beating one of Gordon Elliott's good horses, Coach Carter. He was 4th at Sandown, January 7th to Excitations. He would have been 3rd, I think, Joe. I don't think he would have won it. But I think he'll come on from this. He won a handicap chase at Kells, though. He's going against the horse that was second to him of Rebecca Menzies. Ticket held. He held on well with him, or return ticket, but he held on well with him. So he's in the race too. He was decent 3-1 that day. I like him at 9-2 Sunday. Sorry, I've racing brain. So yeah, Dreams of Home for me.
Yeah, with the Fidelio Vallis, no disrespect to Harry Durham, but if Nichols can't get him to win the last 3 races, then it's a big ask for Harry Durham too, even though he is favourite. Dreams of Home beat Return Ticket and Pay the Piper December at Kelso, like you say. I'm going to go with Pay the Piper. He's a decent horse on his day, and at the weights, he's quite appealing. I think he gets slightly better off than that 3rd place last time out when the 3 met. When you watch that race, he finished 3rd, but he made a couple of bad mistakes on the first circuit, and it kind of put him on the back foot. But then he did stay on all the way, and 2 out, it was unlikely he was going to get 3rd, and he did. So it was a brilliant ride by Danny McMenamin. And if we're talking about good jockeys, Danny McMenamin is a brilliant up-and-coming young jockey. If he can keep in touch with Pay the Piper, he's definitely got the engine to win this. And at 6-1, I think he's a fairly half-decent bet. So Pay the Piper for me. Next up is the Supreme Novices Hurdle, Scottish Supreme Novices Hurdle. We're getting carried away here, talking about Cheltenham. The 225. Again, Paul Nicholls has got a tidy enough favourite here, Dawn. Fairly short in the market. 35-length winner last time out. Is he your idea of the winner?
He is, Joe. He is toothless. He's by Authorised, who is, the fantastic, the wonderful, the legendary Tiger Rolls daddy. So that's what caught my attention too. Yeah, he's 8-11, but I think he deserves that. He won that 2 mile New Year's at Fakenham, and I looked, and it actually says 35 lengths plus. So what else was there? I wondered, the plus as well. And then the 3rd horse was another 7 lengths behind him. So, and he's good. The form's okay in France. So we're going with the French factor again. It went 6th, fell 5th. And then he was sold at the Equana sales for 175,000 and then landed with Paul and under 35 plus in lengths. So toothless all the way for me.
Yeah, I mean, Karachi Castle, I think he won a decent enough one of them ladies' flat races before joining Sandy Thompson. That's not a bad race. And since joining Sandy, he's gone 2 from 2. But a bit like the first race where Nicholls has the favourite, it's going to be very close. But I can't see Karachi Castle being giving Toothless £3 and getting away with it. So Toothless for me as well, Dawn. So now we move on to Dawn's favourite race of the evening, which is the 255, a per temps qualifier. Very competitive as always, Dawn, as you can say, and we know we all love these type of races. The Irish have sent a few over, as they normally do. What do you like here?
Well, firstly, I think you were being cruel on the weekend that was in it. That's why we don't have Jay tonight. He couldn't bear it. But right, I have a 3-card brag, shall we say. The boss is Oscar, who I know very well. again, the John McConnell factor with Bardenstown Lad. And Shearer, he perplexes me because that win at Cheltenham in October, he kind of knocked Wrexham off his feet. I don't think, like we discussed last night, Wrexham didn't really turn up that day. But I'm just going off the Wrexham form for my 5 to follow. Boss's Oscar, good hurdler, good chaser. Second to Mrs. Milner in the pre-Tomps at Cheltenham in 2021, second to Bustleton at Listowel in 2021, and second to Flooring Porter back in 2020 in a handicap hurdle. So you have a nice little bit of form there. Corey McGivern takes 7 off. He's a good little jockey. He's actually been riding Fruit Blossom, Country Queen's big sis, and he's a tidy little jockey. Like a lot of the jockeys in Gordon's, they're very good, you know, and Gordon wouldn't send them over for no reason. Bardenstown Lad, what I like about him is the Albert Bartlett form. You know, he was third to the Nice Guy. He was also third to the Real Whacker, and Indigo Breeze was second in that race, and Indigo Breeze is running at Leopardstown, so we'll discuss that race in a bit. But Simon Torrance that day, when he was third, he earned his fee. So you kind of go, was he being a bit of a monkey that day? Would he have got closer if he hadn't been a monkey? I don't know. But he was also third to Gitmaker in a handicap chase at Cataract on New Year's Day as well. So Ben Harvey goes over, he takes 5 off. I like him a lot. So can I have 3? No, I can't have 3. So I'm going to split myself in 2 ways with the 2 Irish. I like the Boss's Oscar. I'd love Corey to have a big win on the Boss's Oscar. And Bardenstown Lad, it's the kind of the factor of the Albert Bartlett for me there. So either way.
Yeah, there's no doubt in that Bardenstown Lad and Boss's Oscar. They're the class horses in the race, aren't
they? They are, yeah.
I quite like the bottom 8, Brandy McQueen. I'll keep it short and sweet because it's a race that just ties you in knots. He's ultra consistent, won over course and distance on New Year's Day, up another £6, but he's clearly progressive over this trip. I think there's more to come. He's unlikely to rank high enough to actually make the final, so to speak. He's got to improve like £30 to even make it. But this could be his festival right here, in my opinion. £5 claimer on, runs off an absolute featherweight. I think he's a great each way bet. Do you see any of these going to Cheltenham and in the actual event itself if they win?
Bardenstown Lad for sure, I'd say. And I wouldn't rule out the Boss's Oscar because I've been interested to see what the plan was with him, and I'm glad to see he's going somewhere, you know, that way. So, but I think Bardenstown Lad for sure, Joe. Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. That's it for Musselburgh, which I must add, that's on ITV as well. So Sunday is a great day's racing. We're going to move on to the main event now, which is Leopardstown. Obviously, I'm very excited about it. We're going to start in the 140, which is a Grade 1 novice chase over 2 mile 5 furlong. Mighty Potter is all the rage here. He's into 5 to 4. I think he opened up about 3 to 1 in places when the decks were first made. Competitive, some of these probably need a bit further, Dawn. So how do you see it going?
I love Mighty Potter, what he did at Fairyhouse in that rain. We sat and listened to the preview beforehand, and once the rain came, and he was 5s that morning, Joe, Gordon said he had a good chance. He also said about Tiapu, who was 25s that day, had a very good chance. So I listen when he says about these horses. I really like him. I loved him when he won at Punchestown. Sir Gerhardt was third to him, and Dysart Dynamo, who everybody's waxing lyrical about for tomorrow, was 5th to him that day. In the Drimmore, Galliad de Menil, who we love, that grey beauty, was 2nd, and Banbridge was 3rd. So I was looking through, again, we'll talk a little bit about Chelsea Baby, and he's 40s for the Arkle, so I doubt he'll go there. He's 4s for the Browns, and he's 3 to 1 for the Turners. So I'm glad he's turning up for Leopardstown because he wasn't to run. He was to run at Christmas. He didn't run. Galliard de Menil, you know how much I love him too. He's been third to Galopin de Champs there last year. He's been third to La Homme Press. He's won a grade 1 at Christmas. People don't seem to warm to him as much as we do, but he's an absolute beauty with, I think, 10 to 11 or something, or 11 to 10 on Mighty Potter is. Kilcrut turns up as well. You know, he was a good bit behind Constitution Hill, but Mrs. Maureen Mullins bred Kilcrut. James de Burley, he really excited me after his long break, 15 length win. And I have to give a shout out to Adamantly Chosen, because if Jerry Columby wins tomorrow at Sandown, Adamantly Chosen is a whopper if things don't completely go the two top horses' ways. He's 33-1 at the moment. You know, he was 5th in the Drinmore. I still think he ran respectively. I put him down as my 5 to follow for the year. And we'll see how Jerry Columby runs tomorrow, or Jerry Colum. I think he's huge at 33s. But out of Mighty Potter and Galliard de Menil, I've gone around in a circle, but I think I'm going to stick with the Gorgeous Grey. I'm going to go Galliard de Menil, and I think we're waiting for Cheltenham with Mighty Potter.
Yeah. As you know, I love Galliard de Menil, but the more concern here is he's already been beat by Mighty Potter, and I think he's a much better horse over further. So yeah. I'm a bit against him Sunday. The one that really interests me is James de Burley, just because I don't think Willie's had a clear run with him. He's had a few injuries here and there. He's been inexperienced. Then they threw him the champion hurdle, said wait for him, then we'll wait for him to go chasing. And I think only now are they starting to really let him train and train on properly. Is he good enough to beat Mighty Potter and Galliard de Menil? Of course he is. He was rated better over hurdles than Mighty Potter, that's for sure. I think he was rated £6 better. I think he can really serve it up to the front two in the market, James de Burley can. If on a line through form of Capilano Bridge and Mars Harper, which Mighty Potter and James de Burley both beat, on a line through the time them two met, I think we've got a proper race here. And it could be one of them where you could be in for a proper treat being on a track though, and it could be we have 3 horses approaching the last or within a length of each other. So hopefully that's the way it goes when you get a race. But I think James de Burley is about to really throw his hat into the mix going forward for Cheltenham Festival. So he'll do for me. The next race, Dawn, one of my favourite horses in training is winning Blue Lord in the Ladbrokes Dublin Chase, Grade 1, 2 mile, 1 furlong. You could say it's a dress rehearsal for a champion chase, and he's fairly short here, 2 to 7. I can't see him being beat really by anything behind. I would have loved to see a double green 1-2 with So Real finishing second on ground that he should really enjoy. So for me, it's Blue Lord with So Real to follow him home. I know it's short and sweet, but that's the way I see it. How do you see it going?
Wouldn't it be great? Like, you have a double green. That's your headline for Monday morning, Joe. You have the 2 double greens together, and the old boy So Royale, you know. And isn't it great? Alan King is sounding him over, you know, and Daryl's over for the weekend too. Even though Daryl is ours, we're only letting you borrow him. But you know, it's always great. Like we discussed, it's great that, you know, we've got the Twiston Davises tomorrow. So a double green, please. But oh lordy, Blue Lord, I fantasize about him all the time. He's just fantastic. We did think he was going to win the Arkle last year. He ended up 3rd to Eddie, but we know Eddie is absolutely fantastic too. He was 3rd to Echoes and Rain. You've seen how good Echoes and Rain, you know, was back in 2021, and 3rd to Appreciate It in 2021, where Galopin de Champs was 6th, the race that I spoke about before, which we kind of call the star maker because Envoy Allen came out of that. Facile Vega came out of that, so it's kind of all lining up beautifully. He was fantastic at the Punchestown Festival. Hoyt on Colours, who we talk about, who we scratch our heads about after Turles. He was 5th that day, just for for interest's sake. But he's only had one defeat out of his 7 starts over fences, and his 11-length win to Captain Guinness at Christmas, it has to be him. It has to be him. Please let it be him, and let Soy Royale be coming behind him.
Yeah, Blue Lord, obviously, he did get beat in the Arca one. We both thought he'd win it. But to me, he seems like he's a different animal this year. He seems like he's more grown up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the flesh, Joe, because I haven't seen him this season in the flesh yet, to see how he's matured again. So body-wise, I'm really looking forward to seeing how good he looks physically. But I think mentally he's completely different, having watched him on the telly. But no, I'm really looking forward to seeing him. It has to be his. Has to.
I'd have to agree. So before we move on to the next 2 Grade 1s, we've got a lovely big handicap chase, the Grade A handicap 2 mile 5 furlongs. I had 3 or 4 listed for here, but I've found a bit of a juicy 40-1 shot to get stuck into. So I'll let you go first, Dawn, and then see if we.
Well, I mean, are you going to pull off another 50-1 one?
Wishing and hoping. Yeah, that's about right.
I'm so intrigued. I mean, I get just slagged at all the time about my bonkers bets, but I'm looking forward to hearing this one. So I have a bit of a three-way going on, right? In the form of Ciel de Nige, who I adored. I went and watched him win at Punchestown Galentine's Day, Grand National Trials Day. And I loved Real Steel, what he done at Christmas. I thought he was fantastic. Ty Moynihan, who owns him now, people looking for Guinness, you go up to his brother Paul Moynihan in Dinard. It is the best pint of Guinness you will get. And Real Steel now looks like one of the good horses that we're going to see again. He was a good horse. He went Willie, Paul, Willie, now McNamara's. Conor McNamara gave him a peach, an absolute peach. We all forgot that he was 6th in a Gold Cup. Yeah. A gentleman called, I don't know who he is, the Horseman of the Apocalypse on Twitter. He went through so much form and so much class and so many ratings and stats. And I'm not good with numbers, but at the minute he showed me that, I went, oh, hey, up, I'll put €1 each way at 40-1. And I'm glad I did. Vanillier, another gorgeous grey, our Albert Bartlett winner in 2021. Do you know what he's wearing on Sunday for the first time, Joe?
No, I don't.
Cheek pieces.
Oh, my favourite.
So
he needs
your
them.
favourite, and you've seen what it did for El Rodotto. So it could help. He's 10-1. Keith Donahue is up on him. Look, he ran against Galopin de Champ in the John Durkin before Christmas. He didn't make an impression there. He's coming down in kind of grade in this. He was third to Fury Road in November, which I liked then because I kind of went, oh, we're seeing the old Vanillier. And he was third to Statler last year at Cheltenham. So Ciel de Nige, I thought would go to Cheltenham last year. He didn't. Real Steel, I like him because of the neighbours with the good pints and a bit of quality. And Vanillier, because he's wearing those sexy cheek pieces. And I think they do the job. I think they do the job of what they need to do. So can I have 3 or do you want me to stick to 1?
Oh, in a race like this, you can have 3.
I can have 3. Okay, so Ciel de Nige, Real Steel and Vanillier, they're all decent prices. 10-1, 14-1 and 10-1.
Some TriCasts.
I'd be able to pay for cheek pieces for my own horses for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I do like Vanillier. I have him listed down. I mean, I actually backed him really out at Bartlett today, and I expected big things for him the season after going chasing. I thought he's going to be one hell of a chaser. It just hasn't happened for him, and this season there were signs of a bit of a comeback last time out, but it's his jumping that lets him down. But now you just said the bombshell that he's playing cheek pieces. I'm kind of like thinking, oh, hang on a minute, big field, because he hasn't run in many big fields really. And this,
no,
I was worried about his jumping in a big field; it could fall apart. But the cheek pieces do the trick. Then he's definitely got the ability to win a race like this, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
he would be one definitely keep an eye on. But the other one I like is ex Henderson horse. I've had my eye on him for a while now. I backed him last time out when he was fourth, and that is Falco Blitz. Not many horses leave Henderson and go on to win many races, but I think this lad, I do think he's got a big handicap in him, especially one of this type. Decent fourth last time out, as I mentioned, over a slightly shorter trip. He was seated in the Munster National. He was going well, and that was 3 out. And he's always a decent enough price, but he's always there or thereabouts. And he's got a career low mark of 132 now, which is very low for a horse of his quality. I don't know about the pronunciation of the jockey doing the Irish pronunciation. Is it Cian Quirk?
Yeah, Cian Quirk, who is very good, Joe. He's effective. I mean, the last couple of winners he's had, he gives some great rides. Really, Angel's Dawn a couple of weeks ago, the good Yates filly. Wow, he's another one to keep your eye on.
Yeah, he takes £7 off. So you're looking at a horse, and obviously if Cian is the quality like we think he is, then I think Falco Blitz is a fantastic each way bet. 40 to 1, you could probably get bigger on the day. I really do think this is his chance to make a name for himself in a big handicap chase. So Falco Blitz for me, but on with Dawn on Vanillio as well. So I'm going to have 2 Dawn if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, work away. I mean, you could have been greedy and had 3, but I didn't even. I'm glad you've alerted me to Falco Blitz with Cian, because I've been talking about Cian as much as Billy Loughnane on the flat. I think he's fantastic, and now, I think I will have an each way play, because with Cian up, that would be a big positive for me as well. Obviously, I'm not going to throw 4 in now, and I'm not jumping on you, but I can see your point there. I can see there's method in your madness, definitely.
Yeah, I do think he's got a chance. We move on now to a Grade 1, which is Irish Champion Hurdle, the 10:3, and in one way or another, it could be a very emotional race. It's all about Honeysuckle, really. Stateman's favourite, but this is all about Honeysuckle. Does she go chanting on the back of this? Yes, if she wins. If she loses, maybe not. Emotional Dawn afternoon if things go one way or the other.
It's going to be so emotional, Joe, and whatever happens, and there's so many people after her last run. And look, we all get excited about new shiny things, but she's won 16 races. She is our national treasure, and it will be. I'm even wearing her colours on Sunday to support her. For Rachel, for the Bromheads, for everybody involved, right down to her grooms, Coleman, Zoe, everything. It's just, we're all going there to see Honey, whether it's to celebrate or to say goodbye. It's going to be so emotional. My heart more than anything. And I listened to Rachel talking today, and she said, if I said now that I didn't believe in her, it meant that everything that she'd done, we just forget about. And how could we? She'll go down in history. Whatever happens on Sunday, she'll go down in history. And she is a wonderful mare. We'll talk about her like we talk about Dawn Run. She's just incredible. And with everything, I hope she wins. I really, really do. Stateman, you know how I feel about him. He is so bloody exciting. He really is. And again, at Leopardstown, like I was saying yesterday about Tia Poo, he just goes, yeah, okay, I can do it. Grand. I know people were giving out that the way his price was slashed after Punchestown when he won back in November in the Morgiana. I can understand why, because I think he's the one that's going to put it to Constitution Hill. He's probably going to be the one that's going to give Constitution Hill a race, and we can finally put all this silliness aside where they're saying, on one thing, Constitution Hill can't be beaten. On another hand, Constitution Hill hasn't bet anything. So I think Stateman is the man to show up and kind of put it to Constitution Hill, and having the 2 of them in March, Jesus, Joe, it's going to be some race, Vauban, I think he's going to come on. You know how good he is. Now, whether he has the Triumph Hurdle curse, I don't know, but I really think he was fantastic at Christmas for his first time out this season. You know, he wasn't that far off. He showed up and he did what he needed to do. And I'm only going to throw it in, and I'm going to be called crazy, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered, okay? But I haven't given up on Pied Piper. Now, I caused a bit of chaos saying I had him for 66s in the champion hurdle. And look, racing is about their opinions, okay? But we can't forget that he did beat Vauban at Punchestown, New Year's Eve 2021, where you always learn a lot of stuff. He bet Night Salute and he won it down Patrick. And Gordon said afterwards that his bloods didn't come back right from the vets. So we did not see the real Pied Piper that day either. I'm not saying he's going to win the race, but I think we're going to learn a bit more about Pied Piper again and what his future holds, if you want to use it as an education. So heart and every part of me wants and says honey. Head says statement.
Okay.
But to me, I want it to be honey. But on the other side, it'll be statement. And either way, statement and Constitution Hill in March, I am gagging for it. So
I think with Honeysuckle, a lot of people wrote her off because she was third last time out, but the two in front of her, I think, got the perfect race. They benefited from everything. That race was all about them, and Honeysuckle was the opposite. Nothing went right for her, and they just picked her up. It was unfortunate, but it was always going to happen. She is 9 now, so you know you can't go on forever, and she's been beaten now, so that's kind of like the monkey off her back. In a way, it could be a good thing. I actually see Vauban winning this on Sunday. I thought it was a massive run first time out. I know the curse of the Triumph Hurdle, the juveniles coming to Open Cup, it's not great. I've been guilty of winning that track every season with Peace and Co, with Deffy. You kind of like get taken by the juvenile. As soon as they come into Open Company, they kind of like have a season in the wilderness. But he seems to be, that run in December, I think, was top notch. And State Man, I don't know, I can't really take to him. He's obviously a very, very good horse. I don't know if that's because I'm a Constitution Hill fanboy, but I think State Man, me being a silly idiot, I think State Man has to win this on Sunday. I think this is his champion hurdle because he has not got a chance in March against Constitution Hill, in my opinion. So fighting talk there. I don't think he'll get within
very
5 lengths.
much so.
I don't think he'll get within 5 lengths of Constitution Hill. I really don't. I know we're talking about Cheltenham again, but yeah, I think Vauban on Sunday.
They're so laid back, Joe, the two of them. Do you know what I mean? The two, like, from what I hear and from like videos I'm sent to that at Constitution Hill and State Man, the two of them are just like, yeah, whatever. And I'll be wearing the Donnelly scarf as much as I love, Constitution Hill. And, I'm solely coming over to just smell him at Cheltenham. And we'll have pints afterwards and we'll shake each other's hand, whatever way it goes.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we have something to talk about that we think might actually come for Constitution Hill, that way, because it does get a bit monotonous where people are saying, oh, he's bet nothing. Oh, but he won't be bet. So make up your mind. And I do see where you're coming from with Vauban. I do see that he will come on. And I could be going, and then you don't have the Triumph hurdle curse. Maybe he could be like Tiger Roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we dream?
I do think as well the ground and the track is going to help Vauban. If you've got a chance of beating the front two market, it's going to be Leopardstown on this ground. What I will say, we do need someone, whether it's Honeysuckle, State Man, Vauban. We do need one of them to put a bit of a statement out there in regards to the champion hurdle, don't we? Because if this gets won by, no disrespect to Piper or Rosanna here, if one of them wins it, then what happens in March?
Well, it's kind of like what happened last week, though, Joe. I think a lot of people were crying into their paper pint cups. No, because you were going, what the hell? you were coming away and you were going, how much have we learned? Is this what we're going to see in March? And again, I did my bonkers bet. Does Pied Piper run in the champion hurdle? Well, if he runs really well, he won't be 66s to come Monday. He won't be 66s, and I have a lot of faith in him still. I really, really do. But I agree with you again that, like, we're not going to learn much if that does happen, are we?
No, not at all. So from the champion hurdle, we're moving to the novice hurdle over 2 miles. This should have a bearing on the Supreme market as well. Obviously, Facile Vega, all the rage. Not as short as I thought it would be, 8 to 15. That's still, if you're a Facile Vega fan, that's a very good price. I mean, I'll say I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm not a fan, but it's just a horse I've never really taken to. I always find myself taking him on. It's just one of them things. Dark Raven is a horse I do really love. I do think he might need a bit further, though. That's the only issue with him. I do the one that really interests me, and it's great each way price, because is Irish Point. Only because the Marine Nationale form, who's a horse I really like, I do quite like his chance in the Supreme. The form of that is going to get severely tested in regards to the Supreme on Sunday. So hopefully Irish Point can run a big race for Dave Russell and Gordon Elliott. 12 to 1, I think that's a great value. High definition, not so sure about. In the pocket, Rachel Blackmore up for JP. Very interesting. I mean, it's quite an interesting race, Dawn, isn't it? It's not all about Facile Vega like some of the other grade ones on the weekend.
It's not all about Facile Vega, Joe, and I've got a lovely video that I'm ready to launch when Facile Vega wins, because I don't think he'll be betting. I think he's your supreme horse. I don't know why he's getting dug out the way he does, but his mum, it happened to his mum as well. They never, ever, for some reason, and even the expertise of experts were digging him out after Leopardstown. I kind of went, what the hell do you want him to do? What do you want him to do? Like, he's unbeaten. What the hell do you want him to do? Okay, I will talk about the others. Irish Point, yeah, Marine Nationale, and Gordon had said previously he was going to send him straight to Cheltenham. So this is interesting that he's going to Dublin Racing Festival now. Maybe he wants to know more about Irish Point. I really like Irish Point. The Marine Nationale factor, I mean, he was very close to Marine Nationale that day. Very, very close. And at one stage, I thought he had got him. And you're forgetting Champ Kiley.
Yeah.
You're forgetting the Champ Kiley factor.
No, I know about it, but it was over further, wasn't it? So I kind of like...
any opportunity, I was going to get that in there. So the 12 to 1 high def fascinates me. He's still a colt. So we're kind of going, will he keep his jewellery, or will they do what they did with HMS Seahorse? And you see, once HMS Seahorse's jewellery was gone, he went on and won again. He might look after himself a little bit. We'll see. We'll see on Sunday. It's something I don't know much about in that department. You'd have to answer me. But look, his flat career, he ran against Baid, he ran against Alpinista, he ran against Noel Mead's really good horse, Lafayette. Was he a little bit novice at Christmas? He'd every entitlement to be. I mean, for God's sake, he'd never seen them before on a track, I do also like the Jukebox Jury filly as well, Ile Temps.
Yeah.
She's 12 to 1, Danny Mullins is up. She was second to Facile Vega at Christmas. She was third to Vauban last year in the juvenile hurdle at Dublin Racing Festival. Another nice little French recruit. And she was fifth in the Triumph hurdle. So she's another one that's value if you're not going Facile Vega high definition. You've got your Irish Point in there, or you've got Ile Temps. So she kind of caught my attention. She's always kind of there. She's always kind of there. She's lovely. She kind of reminds me a little bit of Lossy Mouth. She can run a little bit gassy. That's the only thing, but we shall see. But for me, I don't want to see it happen. and I can't see it happening. And finally, let's hope Facile Vega gets the respect he deserves. And then Willie finally tells us, yes, he's definitely in the Supreme. But I get your point on Irish Point.
Yeah.
And high definition, very interesting. And high definition, will he be looking after his jewellery? Will he be less novice-y? We shall see. We shall see. But Facile Vega for me, for his mum.
So that concludes our preview of the races. Dawn, just a quick one. Dream scenario Sunday for you would be Honeysuckle, Blue Lord, and Facile Vega, I presume.
Yeah, that's a lovely, lovely three-way. And hopefully we get to learn a bit more education-wise. And I know we haven't covered it, but Gaelic Warrior is out as well. And I am so excited to see him in the flesh. I know he's not going to do an 86 length win, but I think we're going to learn more about him too. And if something comes to eyeball him, I'd like to see how he goes. So yeah, but that three, that's my ideal scenario, dream stuff. And for the bank holiday, it's what you want. That either way, let it be honey. If there's a racing god, let it be honey, you know.
That's it. Bank holiday as well makes it a bit better. There'll be some sore heads if the racing gods are shining down on everyone, won't there?
Oh, definitely. We'll be crawling out of there, Joe. Crawling out of there, straight to coppers.
That's it. So Dawn, have a brilliant time at Leopardstown. I assume we're going to get loads of photos, videos for the weekend, hopefully.
Oh, quality content and vanillier and cheek pieces for you.
Good stuff. Hopefully photos, videos, and loads of winners from the podcast would be lovely. So good luck, everyone. And Dawn, enjoy Leopardstown, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.